Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Revival Season 1, Episode 4. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So first and foremost, we had that opening where someone is breaking into Aaron's house. I did think it was interesting, like, would you really do that broad daylight? Also, while his wife is in the house? Like, did you just not bother checking? Or is it just the point to do it while his wife was in the house? I think that kind of was the point, just to kind of strike some fear of like, if we wanted to, we could have hurt her, but we chose not to. But the moment, like, a flash drive was grabbed, but then it was given to May, who's the reporter. So I was like, interesting. We didn't see her publish anything this episode, so I don't know if she's still verifying what was ever on the flash drive, but because Aaron's thinking later on that whoever he's working with is trying to prove a point. It's like it was you or either someone you work with. I think it's a third party in general. Because I don't even know if that person at the beginning of the episode is the same person at the end of the episode or not, like kind of cleaning rank. But we see them without the mask on, and I think they probably are a regular human. Because at first I was like, oh, could that be the guy from the beginning of episode 1? The guy that was literally, because he was about to be cremated and he came out on fire. But I was like, no, because then he would have regenerated, right? But it's like, I mean, obviously we've seen also there is only so far the regeneration can go. Because like Arlene, I can't remember when we saw her again, did like the top of her hair ever like fully recover. I mean, they even said like even being charred the way she is, she's slowly but surely piecing herself together. So it's a possibility, but it feels like most likely this was someone that might have been burned and then came back, or are they just not human? I don't know, because there is definitely something non-human involved in all of this, because Cooper and Jordan like see it, because he heard it when he was like, you know, with Wayne a few episodes back. That was like episode 2 he heard it, I think, but now he's hearing it again. And it was interesting because like Jordan almost reached out to it, so whatever this thing is, I think it's connected to them coming back. The thing did not have a regular human hand, so, but the person who took from Aaron did. So that's why I'm like, they might just be a reviver. I just don't know if it's like, could you be the guy from episode 1 who was basically almost cremated, but like your skin recovered, but like your skin's not burned off, but it's forever burnt. You're stuck in that state, but you think once again the regenerative abilities would turn you back to basically your default state no matter what. But I don't know. Like I said, it could have already been like that before he was revived. Who are you? What are you trying to expose? Like, you must be someone that knows like Aaron is involved in whatever it is that he's involved in and trying to expose it. Like I said, May didn't run the story, so she must still be in the process of verifying it. So we have that angle to it. We have Rodney and M finally going to Dana about like, you know, her slowly remembering stuff. And it's like, cool, I also found out that you were sleeping with your professor. She's like, no, I wasn't. It's like, I literally went through your phone and found it. It's like, oh, you invading my privacy? It's like, what are you talking about? You literally dumped your phone, so you don't get to play that card of like, oh, you're going through my privacy. It's like, I found your phone after you dumped it, and I was hopeful to, you know, get some information out of it. So it's like, I am investigating your death. So, you know. But also Dana's like, yo, let me handle it. I'm the actual cop. So obviously she doesn't think too highly of Rodney. Once again, they had a whole conversation about musician and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like, even when she heard the name Rodney, she's like, Rodney? Really? She's like, And he's kind of like, oh, come on, why you gotta be so judgy? But anyway, they go to confront Blaine, and Blaine claims like, yo, I was there to pick up a car. It's like, well, you went looking for that car on foot. He's like, well, yes, I did. And M's kind of pushing stuff, but it's like, Blaine hasn't pieced it together that she's a reviver. I'm sure he could piece it together because they kept being like, yo, you did something to me. Now, the argument could just be like, well, you knocked me out or something like that, and I don't remember. So you could, you know, dance around that without going the reviver route. But with all the revivers around, I'm sure Blaine is piecing that together, and he's going to pull the trigger on that when he finds the opportunity to. Maybe literally, maybe figuratively. Most likely literally. I don't think the situation at the end of the episode is him, but I'm actually surprised, though, like, well, I'll finish what I was about to say. I'm surprised Martha eventually lets Dana handle that, because she is so like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but like she kind of was like, right, it is dangerous, and it's like I am the one with the authority. Like I want to make sure if Blaine is responsible, I want to make sure because I got to go about this the legal right. I got to make sure every like I is dotted, every T is crossed to make sure he goes away for a long time. So it's like trust me and trust in the system, and I got to do my job properly if I want to make this guy suffer. And I'm aptly motivated to see this through and see it done right. But either way, during the conversation with Blaine, he ends up bringing up like, right, I saw a light and you saw it too. So maybe that light, which is also what Cooper and Jordan saw when it was like that creature. There was some light around it and there was that sound. I'm almost like, the whole fingers thing, I'm like, we're not dealing with aliens here, are we? Like, what if it's not like, some part of me is like, there's not going to be some reveal. Like, this isn't like some supernatural thing that it is, in fact, a science fiction thing because we have aliens involved. Probably not, but it probably, because the other answer is simple too. I'm like, my mind immediately with the aliens just because obviously Resident Aliens literally the next day. But it's also like, no, it could just easily be a demon that like someone summoned a demon that's like manipulating all of this, or who knows what. There is a very easily supernatural element to it. But yeah, like the light and everything and this creature and the noise, it is fascinating. Like I said, I thought it was interesting too because like Jordan seemed almost drawn to it like a moth to a flame. So I'm like, I don't know if there's something deeper there that probably is a lot more concerning. But because Cooper and Jordan didn't bring it up because Cooper brought it up to Wayne, but Wayne probably didn't think much of it. But then like, him and Cooper and Jordan are talking about it, but they don't let Dana know about it. So. Which, speaking of Wayne, he's out here, obviously every reviver is being registered. He even runs into Rodney, and obviously he has a little look on his face when he finds out, my daughter's dating a reviver. It's like, cool. Both of her family members have issues with Rodney for very different reasons. Well, similar reasons, because it's like, well, it just shows how much Dana and Wayne are alike, well, also different, because it's like, for her, it's like, it's not an issue that he's a reviver. Her biggest issue is, you're a musician. Your name's Rodney. You look like a punk. Wayne's probably like, oh, you look like a punk, and you're a reviver. So, once again, there's some overlap. But yeah, basically because of what that fight she got in in episode 2, M is now having to go to anger management because Wayne was able to pull some strings that basically she has to get 20 hours of anger management rather than like get it like actual charge for like the bar fight. And of course, life being what it is, connective tissue and stuff like that, where it's like, hey, your therapist is, I'm going to butcher her name again, it's Nithya, who is the wife of the professor you were having an affair with. I wonder did M know that he was, probably did, but it's like, right, you're young, vulnerable, all that you've been through, he should know better taking advantage of you like you did. You're adults. I'm sure that's going to be the argument used against her. But I mean, especially like from her family's perspective, it's like she's 20, but it's still like, no, you're young, impressionable. He took advantage of you. There's a power dynamic. You're a student. He's, once again, you're going through all that you're going through. Like, obviously, you're still grieving your mom, and there's a lot of anger and sadness that you have towards yourself and blame yourself. So. Yeah, so it's still a thing of, it is, also, he's the slime ball having an affair, so. It also answers a question I had back in episode 2, because I was like, did he have I think that was episode 2, or was it episode 1? I don't remember. That was definitely episode 2. I was wondering if his wife was like a reviver, like was she sick beforehand? Because I remember having a conversation of, if you were sick when you died and you come back, do you still have the same illness? Is it just kind of slowly killing you over and over again? And you stuck in, I guess another parallel would be like Deadpool. Deadpool's situation is like, well, he's constantly healing, but he can't fully heal from everything because he's still kind of dying from the same thing over and over again. maybe I'm misremembering like Deadpool's constitution in that capacity, but you get the point I'm trying to make. I was wondering if that was kind of what was happening in her. Doesn't seem like it. Seems like she's a regular, like she's just a living person who sadly has cancer. We also found out that Em and Dana's mom had cancer. I'm like, Jesus, so that sucks. Like, we don't know what stage she was in. Like, was she fighting it? Was she going through chemotherapy? Because it was an accident that led to her death, which you're just like, oh, that's just kind of the twofold punch of, hey, here's cancer, here's something your family's got to deal with. Oh, she dies in a car accident. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, that's just sucky. But yeah, Nithya kind of gives Martha obviously the outlet to talk about stuff, and it's just kind of like, right, it's like, I know you're a reviver because Aaron told me, which I was like, that's kind of elfed up. It's like, you told your wife, I mean, you didn't tell her everything obviously, but it's like, it's kind of weird. You told your wife to outed your lover, I guess your mistress in this regard. That just seemed like weird. Why would you even bother like presenting that information? Maybe it's because she saw them together at the bar and then was like, him being like, yeah, that's actually one of my students or whatever. I guess maybe he's also riddled with a little guilt finding out about her constitution, so maybe he needed to kind of alleviate some of his guilt and talk to somebody about it. Makes sense considering like, hey, his wife's a therapist, so without it being like an official thing, he probably needed an outlet to talk about it. So, but I'm like, why would you in any other way bring up that thing? So like, it must be a conversation she must have broached first, maybe. But Nithya says like she has countless reviver clients too. But it's like, right, her condition and also how that's kind of reflected on the people who love her, which I think Nithya can understand that too, because she's like, right, they had the best of intention, but sometimes that intention, even if it comes from a place of love, can be grating in its own regard, because it's like, right, that people always walked on eggshells around like M, thinking she was so fragile, and Nithya gets that because I'm sure like she has to deal with that with her husband and just other people too, looking at her as like so frail, because even he was like, hey, let's not let people know, like back in episode 2. So I guess no one knows what she's going through. They're probably trying to keep everything. That's why I thought like, oh, is she a reviver? But it's like, no, I think it's just she's sick and they want to just, so no one treats her any differently, so everyone treats her right. But even her husband treats her with such fragility. We're exploring a little bit more with Blaine's cult. We see like the burned hands, but I was like, what's that about? Now sitting here thinking about it, like, oh, it's supposed to be the sign of, hey, I'm a regular human, because if I was a reviver, this would have healed. So it's supposed, like, Blaine has it and all of his followers have it. So I'm like, okay, there's something else that kind of did a similar thing of, right, we need to like show that we're human, that we can bleed, that we're not, I'm sure other stuff has done that too, but I was like, it took a while because I thought like, oh, what's up with the burn? At first I was like, it can't be from the Arlene thing because you weren't close enough. And now I'm like, oh no, it's supposed to be a signature of like, right, you're one of the living, you're not one of these quote unquote reviver freaks, So I'm like, okay, so that's how that operates. But they are continuing to harass people. There's that older lady who's just working out, and it doesn't seem like anyone else in that community has any issue with her being a reviver, but they're approaching her. It's like, yo, this is some old lady you're harassing, and they're like, yeah. She's like, can you let me go? And they're like, where? Back to hell? It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Your mothers would be ashamed of you treating an old lady like that. But it's like, once again, people don't see a human in front of them, regardless of the circumstance. It's like you're an atrocity because Blaine's preaching like, right, don't be fooled. Even though the masses have failed, this is a test, and so many have failed because they're seeing these people as people when they're not. They are something else. Like, the dead stay dead, and when something comes back, it's something unholy. Once again, we don't know Blaine's circumstances. Like, was he just kind of like, was he already kind of like the kooky guy he already was, and he just has even more of a following because more people side with him in this belief? Or is it a situation of, was he a religious leader or something? Was he ostracized? Because he doesn't look like your traditional religious leader. So that's why I'm like, I wonder what Blaine's circumstances were, and who is he now? I mean, because he seems like a regular dude because he has a towing truck company or whatever. So I don't know. He seems to have this very like, I mean, it could always be like it could be a combination of religion and a militia, which is probably like the worst two combinations you want. It's kind of like a religious zealot who's also a militia, like who has his own little militia. Because he's also about like no government interference and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, those are the two worst combinations to have in a guy like Blaine. So we'll see how that plays out when you potentially learn more about him. I'm sure when he saw that light, he probably saw that as like a sign from God too, of like his holy mission. Like, I don't know, maybe something changed in him that same night as that light. Maybe it was something crashing down. Maybe it was some entity entering this world. Who knows? You have Ibrahim approaching Dana about how to approach Wayne, and for her, it's like, yeah, my dad, he sucks, but at the end of the day, he's doing what he believes is right, because at the end of the day, he wants to be helpful, and even Ibrahim's like, yeah, like registering people, treating them like others, that's helping. It's like, she's like, I know it's effed up, I don't agree with it either, but she's like, in his own way, he does believe it's him being helpful. He thinks he's doing the best for people, and it's like Dana's like, I've never been able to successfully ever change my father's mind, so if you're able to make it work, go ahead. But because I'm curious, is it whatever he kind of discovered at the end of last episode? Because it's only so far he can go, because the CDC's reach only goes so far. It has his jurisdiction, and he can't kind of expand outside of that. And it's not specifically Wayne's help he needs. He specifically needs to get to the governor, and Wayne obviously showcased last episode, has a very good case of, has the governor's ear. I did love that whole sequence where like Dana obviously told Jordan like, no, you're a lovely girl, I'm sorry that your family makes you feel like you're weird or different, because since coming back, Jordan doesn't really sleep. She just pretends to sleep just to make her parents feel better, and it's like, I'm sorry they made you feel like otherwise, but you're a perfect young girl as you are. And I thought, because she was like, oh, what if what if they're right? What if something, I do feel like something is missing when I came back. And I thought it was, really sweet. And even Ibrahim, heard her say that. And it's like, ask her out on a date, which is really sweet. It's so neat to kind of see her like dress up. And I even love Ibrahim's like, yeah, I kind of halfway expected you to still be wearing your uniform. And it's like, yeah. Once again, it like feels like, honestly, that feels like that would be like, once again, you can't separate it just because, it's Melanie Scrofano, so you can't separate, but it's like her potentially, like, even though it wouldn't be the same, but like her being in her uniform would be just like Winona going on a date wearing something regular, because that would be what she'd do. She wouldn't get all like spruced up, But it's just funny. Circling back to Wayne really quickly, we also have this situation with him and the mayor's wife, I believe, Diane. She reveals like, yo, I am a reviver. And the fact that she was like, Ken doesn't know I'm here means like, oh, he must not. Because yeah, Ken is the mayor, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not conflating the characters. But she's like, he doesn't know I'm here. And she's like, can you like keep me off the registry? I don't know if it's a thing of like she unalive. What if she killed herself or not, because he was like, wait, don't tell me. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm wondering what that was. I mean, that's also probably what, because Ken could just be Ken by being like, yo, I think we shouldn't ostracize people, but if he has a personal motivation of, well, I know my wife is one too, then that might also play a role in it. But like I said, the conversation makes it sound like he doesn't know. But Wayne isn't going to budge on it, because he's like, hey, I'm trying to look after people, trying to do what's right. And she's like, what, trying to protect people from me? Like, Wayne, me and Ken looked after Dana and everything after you lost your wife. And you're just, we did it because you needed help. Like, I'm just asking you as a friend. I was curious to see if he was going to, capitulate in this regard. And he doesn't. He's steadfast. I'm like, I'm sorry. And she just walks away. I'm like, so it goes back to a point I brought up previously. I'm like, when it comes to M, we actually don't know which way he'll go. It'll probably be the ultimate thing of, oh, I don't want to make any deals for friends, but I will for family because it's my daughter, yada, 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 so on and so forth. I mean, hell, even M's biggest motivation for not telling her dad is because she's like, I don't think he'll handle it well. It's like, after losing my mom, he, kind of fell apart. It's like, if he found out what happened to me, even if I came back, his perspective on revivers being what it is, but there's also the notion of knowing like my daughter died, and he probably would look at her as like, that's not my daughter anymore. There's a good chance of that. And so she's like, yeah, I just don't think my dad would handle it well if he found out, like, even if I came back, like, knowing that I died would break him, but also knowing like maybe I'm not his daughter anymore because I came back. So that's a lot of complicated feelings that M has to kind of deal with, and with her, secret. You had Dana investigating Blaine's claim about picking up the car, so she went to Alonzo's, and he's got everything like written out in like notes and stuff because he doesn't trust computers because he's like, yeah, the radio waves, it gives you tumors and stuff, and I'm like, okay. Once again, this is 2008 too, so obviously technology isn't where it is, present day, but still, and those conversations were probably had back then, and obviously those conversations still happen even present day, so I think it's supposed to be a wink and nod to that as well. But I love that it's like, oh, you got James Anderson. All right, what's his ID? It's like, I didn't ask for an ID. It's like, oh, she's like, you're so nice but so stupid. He's just like, hey, thanks. I'm like, oh, you poor guy. But anyway, it led to her finding like there was like a parking ticket or something related to the hospital, and then that's where she went and checked the records and found out that the person there like that was there in that time frame was Aaron and his wife. Basically, he was using his wife's chemo, which is super effed up, as an alibi to kind of go off and do something. At the same time, like M and Rodney were about to get intimate, but then like her memories came back, and she's like, it wasn't Blaine who grabbed me, it was someone else, because he was driving away, someone came and got me, and they had a ring on their finger. And she's like, I know it's not Aaron because he still has his, but this ring is from my killer. Went to the pawn shop or the shop to ask them about it, and the only person that bought it would have been someone who got a replacement in that 30-day window he wasn't supposed to be working while everything was shut down. And it turns out Aaron did get a replacement. He lied to M's face. And so M, which I'd already seen, like, some of the promotional material shows her like this, like with her hair cut shorter and like buzz on the side, which is like, oh, like really looks good on her. The actress almost looks like so different with her hair like stylized like that too. It is interesting like how much of a difference like your hair and stuff can, like how its style can make such a difference. Because like when I was looking at some of the promotions, I'm like, is that the same actress? And it super is. It's just like, wow. I was like, with her hair done a different way, she looks almost completely different in my eyes. But I'm an idiot, so do keep that in consideration. But she's kind of hell bent on getting revenge, because now it's like she was already upset when she thought like, okay, you killed me, but then like, oh, okay, you have your ring, so you didn't do it. Now I find out, oh, you did lie to me, and you also killed me, considering what our relationship was. And now she looks back at like, yo, you kind of approached me, I didn't approach you. She felt like you took advantage of me when I was at my lowest, when I was dealing with what I was dealing with, you asshole, and you murdered me. So he's trying to dispose of some evidence, trying to protect his wife, because he's like, yo, whoever you are, like, he knows who they are, but we don't. It's like, I can take you down too. I won't be the only one going down. So in the process, he actually sends a message to Dana, because I guess he's worried. He's like, he needs some cop help. I do think it's interesting the one person he reached out to was Dana, I guess because of the M connection, but also like it makes me wonder, is it someone in the police department? If it was, like, would you even trust going to Dana about it? But it's like, Dana did come to you, so it's like, right, you're the one person I know I can count on that maybe you'll look after me. But, M got to him first, and I was scared. I was like, oh, please don't kill him, because he has some information, but luckily she doesn't. It's like, okay, good, because it's like, you're not a killer, But he even says, like, I didn't kill you. Yes, I'm the one that grabbed you, but he's like, I would never do that. You were special, and then immediately get shot. And I was like, well, we know Dana, but I'm like, Dana wouldn't have a reason to shoot him out of nowhere. She would have been like, yo, freeze or something. She would have announced herself. And especially considering, like, well, your sister was the aggressor in the situation, so it definitely wasn't that. So it's like someone cleaning shop. Dana arrives, and then, she gets shot. I don't know if the person who's shooting at them realizes or knows that M's a reviver. So I don't know if they were aiming for Dana or whether they were aiming for... They were probably aiming for... M, but ended up getting Dana in the process. So it's probably a thing of, well, I'll wipe you all out if I need to. But we didn't get a good look at the person because it was a person in a mask. So that's why I said it's unclear if it's the same person from the beginning of the episode. But they went to kind of stole something from Aaron to kind of expose all this. So I don't think it's the same person. For a split second, I did wonder if it was someone in the police department, because I thought for a second with just like some lighting or whatever, I thought it might have been like a jacket from the police with the police uniform, but it's like, no. I think it was just like they're like the light off their gun reflecting on the jacket. I think might have been the issue, because I rewound it. It just seemed like a regular like dark jacket and a black mask. So I don't think it is someone from the department. Could be. I mean, it's a hidden identity. We have no idea who they are. They could be someone working for Blaine, but like, I don't think this storyline directly has to deal with Blaine. It might have to deal with something else entirely. I don't know. Who else could be involved in what capacity? Not unless this is something on the governor front, maybe, because she is a piece to this puzzle that can't be complete. It has to be someone powerful enough that needs, their secrets kept, and I just don't think Blaine's in that position really. I don't think it would be the mayor, but that there's a strong possibility on that front of some embezzlement, some shady business deals or whatever, some shady stuff that was kind of going down that's going to get exposed. But like, Aaron no longer has the flash drive. Someone else got it. Like I said, I think that's completely separate from whatever happens to Aaron at the end of this episode. I think because he was making all their threats, and so they're like, right, we're going to have to take you down. And they're just taking down M because she might be a piece of the puzzle, because they're probably the ones who killed M thinking she knew something, because he probably like knocked her out because they didn't know what she knew. And then it's like, oh, that person ended up ultimately killing M instead of Aaron being the one who did it. But he did knock her out. But it's like, what did you expect to happen when you knocked her out? But we'll never know. Well, we'll have to find out from a different source or a different way, considering he's dead now. The Dana thing was so interesting because I was so curious. Because like the moment she got shot, I was like, wait, is she going to become a reviver? I'm like, well, it's not revival day, but we haven't really. Well, I was about to say, never mind. We have crossed. I was about to say, we haven't. Has anyone died post revival day that wasn't a reviver? It's like, yes, regular people have died and no one's come back. So I was like, are we going to make it so that both siblings come back? But I'm like, no, most likely she's going to be saved and it's going to be fine. Luckily, she was in the middle of on her way to her date with Abraham, and he's there, so he is, part of the CDC. So probably hopefully has some medical training that can help in this regard. So we also know that the person who shot at them did get shot by M too, so you just have to find someone with whoever shows up with an injured arm or wound. They're your shooter in this regard. And then finally, we also had the storyline with the Czech family where Anthony is calling his brothers like, yo, the boss is in on the plan. We got to expand. But like, I don't trust you guys to run this, so I'm going to come back. You're going to have to sneak me back into town. And then like, this guy was annoying him, and so he literally beat him to a pulp with the payphone. So kind of showing you how nasty Anthony can be and having him back in town. Granted, he promised to stay away from Dana's family, but promises, depending on the situation, it's kind of like, you stay out of my way and I'll stay out of yours. But if he's up to some shady stuff, eventually that's going to put him in opposition with Anthony and them. But once again, they also know the secret about M being a reviver, and they could always play that card to kind of get Dana to do what they want. I think I talked about that early on, or maybe even get Wayne to do what they want. We'll have to wait to see how this all ultimately ends up playing out. Obviously, every time we get one step closer to a mystery, another one pops up. So it's going to be curious and interesting to see what Aaron was mixed up in, who actually killed M, and for what reason, what was on the flash drive. We'll ultimately have to wait to see where the next episode takes us with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.